Growing up with toxic family, part 8. We left off on part number 7 with me leaving my sister's house, going back to my mother's house, which was empty. Now, we have to question what would make a 15-year-old child leave his guardian's house to go back to his mother's empty house. See, we gotta really analyze this situation. Now, back then, when a teenager would leave home, they called them runaways. But in many times, the reason a child leaves home sometimes is they just rebellious. They don't want to do what the parent is telling them to do. We've seen that happen. Other times, the child leaves home because there's physical abuse going on. Other times, there's sexual abuse going on, which causes teenagers to leave home. But in my case, neither of those was the situation. So what was the problem that caused me to want to leave? The problem was the same thing that destroyed our family. The same thing that stressed my mother out the whole time she was sick. It is the stories, negative stories that was made up by my sister that caused me to want to leave. Well, let's look at the stories. When I first get to a house, I get robbed. That became a negative story that she's telling people about somebody just came and took my stuff. Forget about what actually happened. Her story, told in a negative way, was about they just took my stuff, okay? Then, I'm in the house working out every day. That becomes a negative story about a teenager that don't go nowhere. All he do is sit in the house and lift weights all day. But it's not even a negative thing. This is something positive. That you see a young teenager ain't out here getting in no trouble. He's in the house, staying out of trouble, lifting weights, ain't bothering nobody. But it's a negative story that she tells people. And the people that's listening, they can't even think for themselves to analyze the situation for what it is. It's a kid staying out of trouble, lifting weights. Her negative story overrides the positivity in the situation. So everybody's reacting in a negative way based on the way her story is told to them about me. Then, me at 14, trying to be a father to my son, that becomes a negative story about how I don't need no child, how I don't know what to do with a child, how I don't know how to raise a child. Again, that may be true, but the fact that I'm a child that's willing to try, nobody could see that. All they seen is the way she told them the story. Now, you got her taking positive things, turning it into a negative, constantly coming at me with it. Everybody around her coming at me with it. Plus you add all the negative drama all of the constant negativity she coming at me with on a daily basis. So what do you have here? Verbal abuse, mental abuse. You see, something that nobody ever pays attention to when you're looking at a child. Now I'm back at my mother's house. It is 1985. I have nothing. She has my check, all the money in the bank, everything. Now, the first week we there, we took the little money we did have and buy a little bit of food. One day, my sister pops up over there. Well, what's she doing there? Did she come to check on me? Make sure I'm all right, I got everything I need? No. See, what happened, she took my mother's washer and dryer out the house. And she had a little raggedy apartment size at her house. So she took the raggedy apartment size, went back to my mother's house in the process of us moving. Now, my mother's washer then broke. It's 2 years later. And she ain't got no way to wash. But she got a laundromat that sits right round the corner from her house. Why not just go there to wash the clothes? No, she comes all the way back over there to wash. But what's she really doing? She trying to see what she already know. She know I ain't got no money, because she got it, ain't gave me none. She know more likely it's very little or no food in the house. But she gotta come there to see for herself. So she come over there to wash the clothes. She looking in the refrigerator. Very little food in there. Now she got a story. I was up in my room the whole time they was washing. So I come downstairs to get something, and I see her. And she looking at me, you know, with a frown on her face. And I'm looking at her, and I just keep on going. I don't say nothing to her, she don't say nothing to me. But in the days after, she couldn't wait to get back home and get on the phone and tell everybody how we over there with our baby and ain't got no food. Now, any sensible adult, you see this child that you the guardian over, ain't got no food, you getting a check for them every month, what you gonna do? You gonna go run to the store while you washing, grab some groceries, you know, and take them to the house. You ain't gotta tell me nothing, they ain't gotta say nothing to me. Or you could have said, hey, you know, you ain't gotta be over here without no food. Come on, let's go to the store. We'll grab you a few things. You know? Anything. But she didn't. But she told everybody she talked to the story. We over there with our baby and ain't got no food. Well, she told so many people, she even told it to the next door neighbor. The next door neighbor, mind you, had been friends with my mother since before I was born. Her name was Miss Shirley. Now, Miss Shirley was a church-going woman. When she heard the news, I'm over here with no food, she see me on the porch one day. She said, hey, I want to talk to you. Come around in the back, go in the backyard, I'll meet you back there. I go in the backyard, Miss Shirley got some chicken, corn, and rice for me to cook a meal. She said, here you go. I ain't want nobody to see me giving this to you, but this something so you and your family can have something to eat. And I was thankful. But why Why is it that somebody else got to give me a meal to eat when this woman is getting my check? Why is that? After a while of us struggling with nothing, I finally calls my sister and say, hey, you know, we doing bad over here. Ain't no food, which she already knew because she telling everybody. I tell her I need to get at least $40, $50 or something. And she talking about real negative way, what you need it for? We over here starving. Need diapers for the baby. We need food. Hell, we need everything. But we'll settle for some food and diapers. I had to give her every detail about why I needed the money. And finally she said, well, come on, get it. Well, here it is. I'm a 15-year-old kid with no money. I got to catch 2 buses all the way to her house. Why is it that she the adult, she couldn't bring it to me or get it to me some way? But okay, I go over there, get the money, come back, get us a little food, get some diapers for my son. Lo and behold, I look up about a week later, the water's turned off. Well, how's the water turned off? I ain't been here a month. Now, because we need water right now. Water to cook, water to wash up, water to, you know, get a baby a bath, water to drink. So nighttime come, I'm going out stealing water at people's yards through their water holes. I got buckets and 2-liter bottles, empty milk gallon bottles, and I'm getting water. But after 2-3 days of doing this, I'm like, hey, what are you doing? This fool getting your check. You need to call her. And I called, I said, hey, the water's off over here. I've been stealing water at night. Now, I get off the phone with her, I'm thinking she gonna take care of it. I look up, it's been over a week. We ain't got no water. And I'm like, man, the hell with this. I gotta figure something out. Because ain't nobody coming to save me. Ain't nobody coming to help. So I got to talking to people. And I look up, and I done got the water back on. She did what she always do. When she got off the phone with me, she called everybody, telling them the story of how we over there now with no water. But let me tell you something I didn't think about as a child. The water bill, at that time, 1985, it was about $10 every 3 months. The water was shut off because the water bill had not been paid since before my mother died. Now you think about this. My sister was there when my mother was sick, supposedly helping her do things that she could no longer do. So that means she should have been paying the water bill. Now, after my mother passes away, we stayed at my mother's house almost a year. So what that tells you, if I'm there a year after that, after we leave, this water bill that I'm faced with now is a water bill my sister should have paid. She lived there all that time. This was her responsibility then, and it's definitely her responsibility now. But she did nothing.